What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. I want to talk about the Memphis Grizzlies and the lack of respect this team is getting out in the Western Conference. Entire NBA, honestly. They're one of the very best teams in the league, and I feel like they're just not getting any credit for, or they're not even looked at as a threat right now. And I think that is ridiculous. Before I get into the team and how much of a threat I think they actually are, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. I really, really appreciate it. But let's talk about this team because they're nasty. This is the team with the second best record in the entire Western Conference. And when I hear people talk about like, all right, which team out west is gonna, contend for the title or make the finals, you hear the Nuggets. That's obvious. They're the 1 seed. They've been great. You hear like, oh, maybe the Kings, maybe they can make a Cinderella run. Oh, maybe the Clippers, if they get healthy. Maybe the Lakers if things go right. And I'm just like, okay. And then maybe the Warriors, even though they can barely win road games. I'm like, what about Memphis? Like, they've been good like all year. They might have had one bad stretch for like 6 or 7 games, but like, and then obviously all the drama that they've dealt with, right? I think maybe that's playing a factor in it. But even through the drama, like John Morant got suspended 8 games, missed a total of 9 or something like that, and they went like 6-3. Like, they're good. They're legit out west, and I feel like they're just not talked about as one of those teams. And honestly, I think they're one of the most hated teams in the league. But if you're not hated, you're not doing something right. Over the last 10 games, they're 8-2, 2 seed in the West. They got a game and a half lead on the Kings for the 2 seed. Obviously, that's probably where they're going to finish, or maybe not where they're going to finish, but they're not. They're probably not getting to first. But still, this is one of the best teams. They have one of the best fan bases. They have one of the best home court advantages. We saw what it was last year. They were awesome in the playoffs as a team that pretty much had like no experience going into it. But I think really why they're just not getting a lot of respect is they're like the most hated team, right? Like you have guys like Dylan Brooks who talk a lot of trash, get in your face, get in your star player's face, talk a lot more trash to them while they're beating them, and it just makes them unlikable to like maybe a casual viewer. I, on the other hand, love that stuff. I love the team that, is hunting. Like, they're the hunter out there, and people just don't like that a lot of times. They don't like the team that's aggressive, that wants to, to destroy you and let you know that they're destroying you at the same time. Typically, historically, those teams are not liked by people. But I, on the other hand, love that because it gives them, like, anytime they lose, it's a big deal, right? And that's how you know you're a damn good team. Is there any other team in the NBA that's more hated than them, like for their players or anything? I mean, obviously, like the Lakers are super polarizing. There's teams that are more polarizing, but I don't think anybody's more disliked by a lot of fans than the Grizzlies. So this video might get a lot of dislikes on it, which, fine. It's just my opinion. If you don't like it, that's completely fine with me. If you disagree with anything I say, let me know in the comments why. I love the conversation back and forth. But the Grizzlies, you look at it, they're a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense, and you're not hearing about them being a threat in the finals or making the finals. Like, you're just not hearing it. They're a top 5 rebounding team. They're the best team in the paint for scoring. They don't turn the ball over, but they also turn you over like crazy. I think they're like top 3 in turnovers forced. They get out in transition like one of the top 3 teams in the NBA. They're the best team in fast break points, I believe, or like top 2 or 3 in that. Top 3 in blocks and steals per game. So they just get in your jersey. They make you uncomfortable, and they are amazing at it. And they're really good at doing this defensively without fouling. Like, I think they're like 11th in the league in fouls per game. I think that's a big nod to Taylor Jenkins as a coach. And then the personnel, the players that are on the floor. I'll note particularly Jaren Jackson Jr., who I think is Defensive Player of the Year. But they're just a really, really good unit as a team. And it's defensively, it shows. Because it's just how on a string they are. They're all connected. Like, so you listen to that. Top 10 offense, top 10 defense. They turn you over. They don't turn the ball over. They rebound like the best team in the league. They score the most points in the paint. They get out in transition, and they're not looked at as a team out west. Like I said, when you ask the casual viewer or somebody that watches basketball, all right, which team out west do you think is going to make the finals? Oh, maybe the Nuggets, maybe the Warriors if they figure it out, maybe the Clippers, maybe the Suns, they got Kevin Durant, maybe the Lakers, LeBron is LeBron. You're going down this list. I'm not hearing anything about the Grizzlies, but I probably take the Grizzlies over a lot of those teams I just mentioned. Look at this team. They got a superstar in John Morant, Defensive Player of the Year in Jaren Jackson Jr., who's having a career year across the board. More points, more rebounds, more blocks, more steals, better shooting percentages. Just he's having a really awesome year. I think Jaren's been so slept on. Like I said earlier, he's my Defensive Player of the Year vote. I think he's just, when he gets the ball and he's aggressive and going to the rim, he's really good at finishing with his left hand, which is rare for a big to have that good of touch. He can shoot the 3 a little bit. Like Jaren's a damn good player. Like that's if you're having him be, he's the second or third best player on this team, depending where you put Bane. But let's talk about Bane, right? He's a sniper. He's a bucket getter. He's gonna get you 20 plus a night. He's gonna shoot 40+% from three. He's literally one of the best shooters statistically of all time. So you got that big three, right? And honestly, I think that's a pretty fair statement that is a big three in Desmond Bane, John Morant, and Jaren Jackson Jr. And then you have guys like the best backup point guard in the league in Tyus Jones. You got a quality backup center in Xavier Tillman who can go out there. He can get you some rebounds, play with a little bit of effort. It's not a huge drop off defensively when he's on the floor. They picked up a sniper in Luke Kennard shooting like 45+% from three. He's been on a heater lately. Two effective wings, and I did a Grizzlies video maybe a couple months ago, and I caught some flack for it. I didn't name Santi Aldama as like one of the more important players. He's really good. I just didn't watch a lot of his playing time at that point in the season, but I've watched more of him now. And shout out to the people in the comments for letting me know I need to watch him because really good rebounder, shoots the three pretty damn well. He's a big, can play kind of the three or the four, maybe some small ball five from time to time. Like Santi Aldama's good, right? Then you have John Conchar who can knock down the threes, really good rebounder, I think, particularly. I think that's really important. You got a bully in David Roddy who is a rookie but is just a tank when he wants to get into the paint. I like Roddy. I think he's going to have a really good career. And then, you got, a guy like Dylan Brooks who's a top-tier defender in this league. While I think he's a little bit of a loose cannon offensively, I think he's a little out of control from time to time and pretty consistently out of control offensively. Defensively, he brings it every single night. And you can argue about the dirtiness and things like that, but defensively, he locks up. He's a really damn good defender. And then possibly they have Steven Adams coming back in the playoffs. I know he's pretty much been ruled out for the rest of the regular season, but like even without him, they've still been a really damn good rebounding team. They've still been really good. But if they get him back, that's just another really good piece to have if you need physicality, leadership, things like that. Adams is there. Like, they're just deep, man. They're deep. They're good. They're intense. They're aggressive. They're nasty. And they don't lack, really. I mean, three-point shooting can be a little bit hit or miss, but they don't really lack anything on this team. They have creators. They have some shooters. They have rim protection. They have wing defenders. They rebound. Like, they're not really missing anything. Like they have the firepower. They have like a superstar player to lead them through. Like if you need a couple clutch buckets, what is this team missing? I don't think they're missing anything. I think this team and the Memphis Grizzlies, led by John Morant, hopefully he keeps his act correct. And then Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. keep it up. Like all those other great role players that I mentioned. This team is definitely out west one of the best teams. One of the most likely to make the finals. One of probably 3 or 4 teams in the West right now that I would say I feel confident in. And I feel like a lot of people are not confident in them because of all the drama and the controversy. But I feel like that possibly might have made them a little bit stronger, just having to go through that before the playoffs and everything. They kind of learned who they are. And, who wants to be a team that matches up with the Grizzlies in the first round? I personally would not want my Lakers to match up with them, because that's going to be a nasty series, and they're going to be physical, and it's going to be... I wouldn't want that to happen. If you're the Clippers, you damn sure don't want to face them. If you're the Timberwolves, who have been like kind of record-wise the same as they were last year, but talent-wise are not quite there. Like Timberwolves lost to them last year. And then who else? I mean, there's like the Pelicans. The Pelicans are one of those teams I'm just hoping and praying on. Hopefully Zion comes back and everything, but like they don't want to face him. My whole point here is you don't want to be the team that has to play the Grizzlies. Like there's going to be teams that would probably rather play the Nuggets, which is crazy in my mind. Like you'd rather play the 1 seed than the 2 seed, but there's going to be teams that are not going to want to play them. And whoever does play them is leaving that series scarred or going home. So I'm just saying, man, I think this team is not getting any respect. I think people are falling asleep on them. And I think that the Grizzlies should be looked at as one of the more likely teams out west to make the finals. Do you agree or disagree? Where do you have them finishing? You could have them as a second-round exit or a first-round exit or a Western Conference finals exit, whatever you have them, man. Let me know in the comments. I'm very interested to hear the dialogue on this team because, like I said, I think they're very hated across the league. But for people that like me that like the team that is, out there to prove a point, I like it. So I want to know where people think they're going to finish. There's going to be a lot of people that are rooting on their downfall. That's just kind of how it goes in the NBA when you are the team that is, that is hated. So I think it's fun. they're not the bad boys Pistons of the 90s or anything like that, but they're definitely like in that kind of conversation in terms of like how they're viewed, right? But if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But the Grizzlies are good, man, and they're not getting credit, and they're getting slept on, and I feel bad for whatever team sleeps on them going into the playoffs because you're probably going home. But thanks for watching. I'm done here. Peace.